I want to talk a bit more about why a younger generation requires this approach of Ayurveda.
Yeah, look, I think it's a interesting question, and uh, I will answer it with what we were talking about, right? Chawanprash.
Hmm.
So, Chawanprash is a ancient nutritive jam type formulation, which is great for immunity, revitalization, vitality, feeling good. Kids in India have grown up having Chawanprash, but Chawanprash is black, bitter, sticky, and inconvenient.
Right.
Every kid in India has that memory of their parent or grandparent trying to stuff Chawanprash down and they're running away, etc. All of that. Now, what's the difference between today's kids or the kids of the 90s and 2000s, the kids of the 60s and 70s? Today's kids at age 10, 11 say, I'm not doing it. I'm making my own decision. By the time I reach that age, I'm not going to do it. And so, what you saw with Chawanprash is actually the market was stuck at 600, 650 crores for 10 to 15 years. Means we know that the population of India is
Yeah,
growing every year, right?
right.
That's clear. Why is the market of Chawanprash not growing? If the number of kids in India
Are
is
growing.
increasing on a yearly basis, why is this market stagnant, right?
Right.
Why is it not growing? The reason is kids are saying no today. They're saying
Hmm.
they don't want to have it. Now, Chawanprash is good for you, but the form factor, the taste, the way it
The
is not
texture.
appealing to kids anymore.
Hmm.
And so that is the gap that need to be bridged. Like when I started my business, or when I took on the legacy, we are Gujarati,
Hmm.
but I grew up in a family where my granddad was a doctor.
Hmm.
And so he only spoke to me in English. So I didn't speak so much Gujarati at home. And all my dada's vendors, our factory, everyone spoke Gujarati, right? And I didn't speak good enough Gujarati. And one uh, raw material supplier told me, look, you don't speak such good Gujarati. I don't want to speak to you in Hindi. Send someone from your office to talk to me who speaks Gujarati. And that's when I realized, look, I have to learn this language for business.
Right.
It's my mother tongue, but it also will
Yeah.
help me in work. I used to have a Gujarati teacher coming into my office, and Fridays 12 to 1, I would take Gujarati class.
Okay.
Now, I grew up with the language around me, so I had to just brush up. But she knew that Shikakai and Amla and Bringraj went into Ayurvedic hair oil.
Hmm.
But nobody else around us knew that, right? And so I saw that there's a gap between knowledge of Ayurveda after a specific generation,
Right.
right? And that gap is because we are not being able to repackage or rebrand this science in a format that's appealing and accessible to modern consumers, right? And so I take the example of Chavanprash. What did we go and do in this company?
Hmm.
We said Chavanprash is great for you, but the form factor is not so great.
Right.
So can we reimagine Chavanprash in a form factor that appeals to kids? And we launched the world's first Chavanprash toffee. Now, Ayurveda purists will say this is not right. You are
You can't do
taking the
this.
science in a different direction. But the great part for me was because I was not an Ayurvedic doctor myself,
Hmm.
I could think like this and I could think out of the box, right? And
That's
so
true.
eventually we did launch this product. It's super successful. And our approach towards Ayurveda was new form factors, easy to understand packaging, explaining the science in layman's terms, explaining the herbs to consumers in a new age format so that we bridge this gap.
So my study and whatever I have understood for whatever my teacher taught me comes from your prakriti, which is vat, kaph, pit, and you kind of follow your diet as per the seasons. So compared to other modern sciences, Ayurveda is not easy to follow. You have to constantly observe yourself. Okay, what is happening in my body? What is happening in the environment? And I match my diet or my medicines, and accordingly I consume. So if you want to make something commercial like this, how do you break this?
See, if you look at Ayurveda in its purest form, right, each of us is a different combination of the five elements:
Exactly.
earth,
Yeah.
wind, water, fire, space, right? Uh, and that eventually determines your dosha. Now, the most pure way to do this is go to an Ayurvedic doctor. They'll take your nadi, they'll tell you what your dosha is, and then each individual is a different composition of these three doshas as well. I'm more pith, but there is some vat, some kapha in me, and there is a combination. But you have to do something that's also realistic or pragmatic in the modern consumer's life. And so we said, hey, look, it's important for a consumer to know Vat, Pitta, and Kaph. How can we make Vat, Pitta, and Kaph knowledge easy for this consumer, right?
Hmm.
The
Which rarely any
the
company could
right
do.
way to do it would be the person can come down to our clinic and meet our doctor and do this Nadi Pariksha and get it. But really, if we want to take this across India and we have one clinic in Bombay, that's not realistic. So we put this as a questionnaire on our website. And we
Right.
got hundreds of thousands of people learning about what Vat, Pitta, and Kaph is.
Hmm.
You know Vat, Pitta, and Kaph because you are into this, you're into yoga, etc. All of that. Most people don't even know what
Of
Vat, Pitta, and Kaph is. Right?
That's true.
So the place that you start is so is such a sort of low level of knowledge that you have to step by step increase the knowledge. Once you get someone to understand what is a dosha, what is the Ayurvedic lifestyle, you send them tips on WhatsApp, they do a free consultation with a doctor, then they become sort of slowly believers in the science.
But that's almost like talking to a foreigner, right?
Absolutely.
It's absolutely because we are
Ab-
so far away from this knowledge.
now I'll tell you the difference between talking to a foreigner and who we were talking to, right? We come from urban India. And so lots of people in urban India would ask me, hey, like, not so many people believe in Ayurveda. Um, Reality is that 72% of Indian households consume at least one Ayurvedic product at any point of time.
Which is called
Whether it's
haldi.
a hair oil or it's a.
Haldi
Uh,
to begin with.
well, I wouldn't say haldi is an Ayurvedic product. That's the part of our life, right?
Right.
But some hair oil, some shampoo, some toothpaste, some tooth powder, uh, pain balm, a medicine for acidity. There's something in your house, right? So our job was not to actually explain Ayurveda to a bulk of India. It was to say, hey, you don't even know it's in your house. You don't even know it's in your kitchen. It actually is something that you and your families have been using for a long period of time.
Hmm.
Let me package it in a format that's appealing to you so that that one product becomes three or five.
Hmm.
That was our job actually, right? And what I also learned with my experience of building this business was the world outside Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Calcutta is there is a big world,
Hmm.
and the consumption in India is not just the way I consume. And so it made me open my mind to advertising in Hindi, in English, using TikTok to advertise. My packaging, I remember a VC coming to me and saying, hey, your packaging is too jazzy. There's too much going on in your packaging. I don't like it, it doesn't appeal to me. And I said, sir, 82% of my consumers are outside the top 10 cities. You're not my target customer.
Right.
And opening our mind to this, speaking to customers on phone, understanding what their problems were.